All right, everybody, welcome to our Chico State NASPA Undergraduate Fellows Student Panel. Today we are joined here by our fellows who have actively been involved with NASPA. So to kind of jump things off, we want to have the fellows introduce themselves, share a little bit about your experiences. Then toward the end, if we have time, we'll just kind of go into some more like informal questions if we have time for that. Who wants to start us off first?
I can go ahead and start us off.
Great.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hilda Gaspar, and I am a kinesiology major. And I am from downtown Los Angeles. I am finishing off my last semester here at Chico State. And yeah, my involvement on campus, I've worked as a resident advisor, a front desk attendant, and I'm currently reactivating a club on campus called CAFE, which stands for Central Americans for Empowerment. And yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Contreras. I'm a biochemistry major here at Chico State. I have been pretty involved on campus. This year, I'm the president of the American Chemical Society, which is our chemistry club on campus. I also have been working at the Chico STEM Connections Collaborative program for the past 4 years. And I've been doing biology research with the Gorman Lab for the past 3 years. So that's been really fun. I used to work at the math department. As you can see, I wear a lot of hats, but it's pretty fun. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much for me. Oh, I'm also from the Los Angeles County area. Yeah.
My name is Ashley Robinson. I'm currently in my last semester here at Chico. I study business administration management, where I'm a peer mentor for the Reach Student Success Program, where I peer mentor 12 mentees, and I'm also a cultural program coordinator for our Infinity Spaces, being the Black Resource Center. And I'm from the Bay Area, city called Richmond, California.
All right, cool. Thank you for that introduction. So just to kind of jump things off with this first question, you all just returned back from NASPA out in New Orleans. So what are some major takeaways from that experience?
Okay, I can go. Um, I feel like some major takeaways from my experience at NASPA was a lot of the reimagining that's happening with higher education. There's a lot of uncertainty that we are all aware of. And I feel like the president of NASPA, Dr. Parnell, did a great job during her keynote to remind us that even though times seem uncertain right now, we are an evolving field. And while things do feel scary, as long as we have our community, which is the NASPA community, and as long as we are using our resources to the maximum ability that we can continue to persevere in this field. And I feel like that was really important to hear, especially at this time. And a lot of the workshops that we attended were focused on DEI, as well as how we can focus on our mental health. And I feel like that's definitely something that I took home with me because obviously being an underrepresented community, it's hard to talk about mental health. So I think it was really important that they covered that in those workshops because it kind of broke the barrier of like, yeah, we're all human at the end of the day and we all need to be supported, especially while we're going through this political climate.
Yeah, I also agree. I about what Karen was saying about like the reimagining. It gave some like certainty. It also gave like a look into obviously the pro staff in the world, like statewide, that there's like a lot of support here and there's a lot of like resources like within NASPA. Like there's like staff or enough fellows that you can like meet for the first time. It's not even from your university and they're like super supportive and like very quick to like give advice and meet one-on-one with you. And that's super like that's such a great thing because like generally like in the world of student affairs it like feels like everyone wants to see you win, which is like amazing. And another thing I took out of it is just like more professionalism and how that may look like statewide, which is great, especially how people would like, style themselves through their hair, through their culture, whatever. Like I thought it was I thought it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on, it was definitely an inspiring place to be at when we went. Um, and it was very empowering to see a community of people of color together and encouraging each other and, in the same, I guess, mission to student success and all of that. So, yeah.
Okay, so for our next question here, um, let's talk about like opportunities. So what opportunities has the NUF program given you?
Yeah. So far, when we first became a fellow, we been receiving emails on how to you know for the chatty hours where we would like participate, hop on Zoom, network with other professional staffs all over the nation, from other universities, and simply, like network with each other and build off those professional relationships and support each other.
Yeah, I think I honestly joined the NUF Fellows Program in November. So I've only been a NUF Fellow for a couple of months, and it's been the most insightful couple of months because through my mentor, Jamile, she has been an incredible resource, providing even this opportunity for me because I know the reason I found out was because I went to her in a moment of crisis and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my career. And she told me that this would be a path for me. And then we got on to the fellow application. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have known about this program at all. So she's been an incredible mentor. Um, for professional development, when we went to the conference, the amount of professionals that are there to support you and are willing to look for a resource for you for like a job or even offer you a job. I remember, I think the most important thing is to attend those like knowledge communities that they have because at the Latinx knowledge community, I was actually offered a job in New York. And I was like, oh, I'm not even graduating yet, but thank you so much. And so it's like they have a lot of resources for you. And networking is super important. I think that this conference taught me that LinkedIn is like your bestie. Like, have that app open, see their names, write it down real quick, and connect because they are more than willing to connect with you. And overall, I think the opportunity to go to New Orleans and not have to like pay for it was the biggest opportunity we could have got because I don't think I would have ever probably visited that side of the country if it wasn't for this program hosting us over there. So it was awesome.
Yeah, literally everything, emphasize everything that they say, but also even in our meetings with our mentor Yamile, like it's amazing how like the NASPA and being enough fellows offers you like helped with like your personal statement, help with like how to research like funding grad school, have like, the resource on our campus grad studies come in into one of our meetings and just talk specifically to us and like tailor to our interest in the field. So that was amazing instead of like, oh yeah, this is like how you look for like resources in grad school. Obviously they know that NASPA is like, student affairs focused. So when she came in, she like helped us, she tailored the resources to us for a master's in like higher education. And yeah, that obviously going to that conference and be having that opportunity and just meeting everyone, that's amazing. And more opportunities that they offer is the Dungy Institute, which we all got accepted in, which is amazing and great. It's a week. We spend a week on Michigan State this year, Michigan State's campus, and we work with other NUF fellows across the state and with pro professionals at Michigan State. And it's like I can't even like I'm just anticipating how it will be. I'm so excited for it. And it's amazing that NASPA also offers like internships tailored to people that are in enough. Like you may like if you search on like a university's like careers page, it may like, what's on NASPA tailored for the NUF fellows won't be there because obviously it's, we have that advantage. So I think that's like super amazing. So you can literally apply. And I know most of like the internships offer like housing, which is great. And I'm very grateful that I'm a recipient of one of the NUFP internships, and they're like offering housing. They're giving me like a stipend. So NASPA's been really great to me and very helpful and has given me nothing but like resources and time and patience. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to add on to both of y'all about like how NASPA has been very eye-opening to like the resources for us out there. And my experience when I went for the networking part, I did have to at that conference create my LinkedIn account, like update it, like put a profile picture and all that because an opportunity came up where I had to like they asked for my LinkedIn and they couldn't find me because my picture wasn't on it. So then I had to go on their phone and add my information, like, okay, here I am, add myself. And then he was like, okay. And then after that, shout out to Ashley and Karen for helping me, organize it, make it more structured. And actually, Ashley also got connections through a lot of the for her grad program people over there connected with her. And so that was very beneficial for all of us.
Man, shout out all three of y'all getting into DLI first and foremost. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, I'm glad y'all had those takeaways. One thing I wanted to add is, and this is something that y'all already probably know, but as y'all continue to, progress through, life and wanting to work in higher ed, at the foundation of that is that networking piece, is that building relationships piece and building that connection. Because that is in a sense, and you probably got a sense of that at the conference, but that is what kind of carries, that's what kind of carries you through. So I'm glad I kind of got that from the conference and kind of embody that with the work and stuff that y'all do. But yeah, DLI, that's what's up. Okay. So this kind of segues into our next kind of question here. And it is, what challenges have you faced or potentially still facing on your path to graduate school? And also, what are some victories or milestones that you're proud of?
I want to say for me, definitely like I actually didn't even like think, which I also owe to NASPA and being enough fellow in my mentor Yamile, but I didn't even think of grad school until becoming enough fellow. I didn't think it was an option for me. Like as like a first gen student, I was kind of like I'm lucky just making it through, bachelor's. I'm lucky enough to get this. But obviously, like I with my journey here and a support through like student affairs professionals here, I'm just like, oh no, like it's definitely possible, especially through this field, like in that like holistic approach is definitely like, encouraged me. So in the beginning, it was like I know like a hesitant piece of me applying to grad school was like submitting my transcripts and looking over through it, and I would be like, oh, like I don't like it doesn't look like on paper that I'm grad school like material. But like quickly, like my mentor Yamile and the NASPA program like was like, kind of erase those like thoughts like in my mind and like oh like those are like not true. And so I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But so I sorry, I was forget. Um so through the program and having like, everyone supporting me, that like helped. Not understanding that not to like let them say no, let the program say no, don't count yourself out. And so once I got over that piece of having that kind of like imposter syndrome in grad school, I kind of then the next piece was like, okay, how am I going to fund this? Like, okay, like, yes, I'm happy I got through the application, which I'll in the fall I'll be attending CSU Fullerton for the Master's in Higher Education. So happy about that. And so then my next hurdle is like, okay, like I said, like, how am I going to fund this? And funny enough, actually today I applied for I applied for financial aid for a master's program. Obviously, I know that they don't like, offer like as much grants and Pell Grants as they do in undergrad. But today I actually learned that they gave me a grant. I forgot what it's called. And it's like for undergraduate grad students, if like your student index is under like 1,500. So that's helping me actually. They gave me like 4,000 for like per semester, and that's actually like the cost of like this semester. So that's very there's opportunities and resources out there, and I feel like I'm feeling more comfortable, and I'm getting, happy about everything kind of like working out. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. So I guess my biggest challenge was definitely starting school when COVID hit. So I started my undergraduate career 2019, and when it was second semester, they actually kicked us out of the dorms because of the lockdown. So I spent my second half of freshman year and my entire sophomore year at home learning through Zoom, which was probably the most difficult thing I've gone through just because I'm a biochemistry major, so I took a lot of my general chemistry classes online. And when I came back to campus, I was a full-on junior taking organic chemistry, quantitative analysis chemistry, physics, calculus, and that was probably my worst semester ever because when I got into those labs, lab etiquette is something I should have already known, and it wasn't something I had in my back pocket. Just because learning lab stuff over a computer is not the same as actually doing it in person. So having to learn how to work with chemicals, that was something that was new to me, and that was something I should have already known as a junior. But when I came back, I kind of felt like I was still a freshman. I didn't know my campus resources. I had only been on campus for a semester, so I didn't know who to ask for help, where to ask for help, or how to ask for help. And so it definitely took a toll on my mental health and on my academics. So that semester was the first time I reached out to a professor to get help. And she told me my resources. She told me I could reach out to counseling if I needed to. And that semester, I enrolled in counseling. And I've been in counseling ever since. So it's been like 4 years that I've been seeing my on-campus counselor. And I feel like if it wasn't for me taking that first step and like being vulnerable about my mental health and reaching out to a professional, I probably wouldn't have been able to manage all of the things that I've been able to do since then. So I feel like that was a big thing, a big challenge for me throughout these years. And also, like I said, I'm a science major and I didn't know that this is a career that I could go into. So I didn't have the resources to learn about higher education, to ask about higher education, until one of my biggest mentors, Jacqueline Villalobos, um, actually pivoted from science as well into higher education. And right now she's the assistant director of the Latinx Center at CSU San Marcos. So when she did that, I was like, wait, we can do that because I like supporting students and I like talking about my experience. And I like to tell students that even though it feels like it's the end of the world, it's really not. Like, let's look at our resources, let's get the help that we need, and let's figure it out together. So that's something that I found out I'm really passionate about. So that's why I'm going into higher ed. And yeah, my victories and why I feel so satisfied about leaving science, it's because even though I struggled a lot in the beginning, the amount of work that I've done to get me to where I'm at is actually crazy. I would have never thought I would be winning undergraduate research competitions for 3 years in a row, first place. And that's not something I ever saw for myself. So the fact that I get to say that, I'm like, oh my God, like Karen, who was super scared freshman year, wanted to drop out of biochem, she'd be like, what? What in the world is happening right now? And yeah, so this month I get to go to Humboldt to compete in the statewide undergraduate research competition and compete against other CSU students. So it's been crazy. And also being president of the chemistry club is not something I saw myself doing either. So the fact that I get to say that I'm the president and a minority and a female, hell yeah, go me. So that's been one of the victories also to grad school. Um, so yeah, speaking about grad school, one of my challenges right now is that I don't really know how to pick a program, but through the chatty hour that Hilda and I attended, we learned that NASPA actually has a like kind of category on their website for graduate students where you can filter the things that you are looking for in a program, and they supply the universities that have those those things that you were looking for. So I'm going to be utilizing that for sure as I start looking at grad school apps. Since I have one more semester, I still have a little bit of time to figure out where I want to apply. So yeah, that's the main goal right now.
As for me, I also started at the same time pandemic happened, but I'm still here, and I think we can all agree that we're all proud that we're gonna walk the stage soon in a couple of weeks, and move forward with our careers. Um, yeah, for me, going into grad school wasn't a thought as well. However, through NASPA and talking to other folks about it, it has been brought to my attention. But yeah, choosing the program that would best support the route of career that I want to go is difficult at the time, but I'm slowly getting that clarity by communicating with people on campus. I actually met with Rome from the rec to talk about his career as a rec coordinator. And that's been very fun, a fun experience. Uh, yeah, it's pretty much it.
Good. Thank y'all for sharing. It's crazy how you can kind of start off with the challenges, but you end up coming out on top. Especially starting school in the middle of COVID. I know that was a huge learning curve for the entire world. But y'all are killing it. Y'all are doing it. So for this last question here, what's your best advice for students, who want to pursue graduate school and, perhaps work in student affairs someday?
I can go. So I would say it's super important to find a good mentor, find somebody you can relate to, find somebody who understands your background, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable because the more that they know you as a person, the more they can help you, the more they can gear your resources to you. Also find a community, find a good cohort. Find members who are just as motivated as you. That way you don't lose sight of your goal. And networking. Networking is so important. Keep those contacts alive, even if it means like reaching out once a month or twice or once every 3 months. Like just keep that line of communication alive because the amount of times that we hear stories of like, oh, I met this person like 10 years ago and now we're working together. Like everything comes back full circle. And if you're willing to keep that line of communication open, it will only benefit you. And then I would say definitely take self-care seriously. Your mental health and physical well-being are super important, especially in graduate school, because it might be challenging learning how to balance the demands of graduate school compared to undergraduate for sure. So if you're not okay mentally, you're honestly not going to be okay physically and being as successful as you can be in your work. So definitely make sure you're taking care of your mental health. And yeah, just like if you see students who are also in your same passion or in the same career field as you, looking for the same kind of jobs as you, and they're seeming unmotivated of the work, remind them why they started here. Like be a mentor yourself. Make sure that you're reminding your community that it's important for us to do this kind of work because we're going to uplift the next generation of students. And we were once a generation of students who needed that uplifting. So it's only right that we give back what we were given when we needed the support. And always just create welcoming and inclusive spaces for all students, especially students from marginalized communities, because we're all in this together. High School Musical.
I 1,000% with I 1,000% agree with everything she was saying. Definitely, especially highlighting like seek mentorship and having that vulnerable piece with whoever you seek your mentor with. Just because I know that with my grad school journey, with my like applying to things, like I like have like I'd say like my biggest mentor and my like number one fan right now is actually like the program coordinator for Reach, like Jessica Dietrich. Like she's literally like been like there for me and so much. She's like put me down for any letter of reference, put me down for like if like whatever, like any work reference, letter of recommend, everything. She's like, I want to be here for you. I will write the same letter 1,000 times. Like, it's all right. And it's because like we've created like such this like relationship where it obviously like from the beginning, like I like when we first met, it was like on a vulnerable page where I was like, oh yeah, like I'm on academic notice. Like I know it's not, like whatever. And this is how it happened. And instead of like, judging me for it or thinking like, oh man, like do like this is what you need to do and you need to do it now before you get kicked out of school. It was like, what's going on? Like how can I be there to help? Like having those like interpersonal relationships that like where she would check in, like that's like literally like builded our relationship and obviously now to what it is where for her to like trust me and offer me to like be a mentor and like like encourage me to go to grad school, being like that help that writes every letter of recommendation, which I'm super grateful for. So seeking mentorship and being like you were saying, being a mentor, but also understand that when you go into the world of like student affairs, like as someone who's a mentor, I have a really close relationship with my mentees. And obviously, like I wish I could just take every single problem away and I just want to like, help them with every single solution. But obviously he like, having that like boundary of like, okay, like, like I know sometimes like they have to like, understand that students do have to meet you halfway and you can't do like everything for them and everything like kind of that stuff, but it'll all be great. The student affairs world is super amazing and supportive and yeah.
Yes, for me, I would say that being curious and courageous to like move forward with that. Being curious, and an example I can provide is when I hopped on the chatty hour and I asked Dr. FT, I hope I'm not saying her name wrong, but Dr. FT about her journey, and she was actually a kinesiology major as well. Uh, wasn't sure what route she wanted to go, and she didn't want to coach, but she said that she heard about student affairs and it was like a broad and open, like professional career. And so she chose that route and she's been in it for a while now. So yeah, just being curious to ask questions can help you gain that clarity and open, doors and career paths that you can possibly go into, and having that courage to actually be like, ask those questions and get out of your comfort zone and yeah, just explore.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. And really on that note, Hilda, what you just said kind of sparked a thought in my head. And it's something that, that I want to share with y'all. I don't think anyone, comes to college wanting to work in student affairs or wanting to work at a university and work in this setting. So I share that because all of y'all found y'all way to this type of work in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's because, in a sense, it's meant for you and you were chosen, right? Because at some point in time, somebody probably shared it like, hey, you should do this, or, you would be good to do this type of work. So I say that in a way to just empower y'all to keep grinding, keep being curious, keep learning, and, give that same thing back to the students that eventually you're going to be in your shoes in X amount of years. But yeah, y'all are great. That's all the questions that we have for today. So yeah, thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for dedicating some of y'all time today. So yeah, anything else that anyone wants to add before we close out?
Well, I have a question for you. How was the conferences for you? Yeah,
For NASPA?
yeah, NASPA.
Yeah, I thought NASPA was good. It's good. That's good you asked that because nobody have asked me that yet. But I thought NASPA was good. It was my second one, and I think the the main piece that I took from it was the kind of the idea about burnout in the workplace. Because I really work in a fast-paced, always on, never off work environment. That's housing. It don't stop over here. It's always going. So I think the idea about burnout and the conversation around that is something that needs to be consistent in this workplace. And that's just from the professional staff level, like myself, and also from, the 16 students that's on my team that I supervise. So really just, I guess what I took away from it is just some ways to kind of cultivate, self-care that one of y'all had spoke about. Because I feel like over here it kind of gets in the way a little bit because you are, you know, myself, RAs and stuff like that are the sponge for the students that live in the building. So sometimes just putting myself first, right, is something that I got from it. Um, Accepting the fact that some things can wait to the next day. Everything doesn't have to be done right there in that moment when somebody may needing it, unless it is a crisis, of course, and that type of stuff. The other thing that I think that I got from it was some how to build um, like team culture. I attended two sessions about that and how to just build team culture from day one so that you have a space where people want to work. Because we all know if we're not happy in the workplace, we're not going to stay long. That impacts productivity and all that type of stuff. So I think in my role, in here and kind of supervising students, I'm at the top of that. So being able to kind of manage that and create a space to where we can all thrive and do our thing is those are kind of my two big takeaways. Um, Outside from the massive amount of networking that took place, sometimes overwhelming, but still good. Still got to do it. But yeah, it was great. New Orleans was great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I was interested.
Yeah.
Before we go, I also want to say, Hilda, I'm so proud of you. Like from the beginning to now, you have really broken out of your shell. And I feel like you have gotten so much more confident at asking questions and like participating in things. Like the amount of effort that I've seen you put yourself into these spaces after we came back from NASPA has been so beautiful to watch. Like just even getting to know you throughout the trip and seeing like how your mind works. It's like and like knowing that you sometimes like struggle um being, out there in these spaces and then seeing you out there in these spaces, it's like, heck yeah, Hilda. I know you probably thought about it a bajillion times, but you did it. And I just want to tell you that I'm so proud of you for being so courageous and stepping out of your comfort zone.
Oh, 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 I thought I unmuted. Well, thank you for those kind words. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to have done it. I mean, that NASPA experience was very eye-opening, and then doing it with both of you, like, like, oh, let's go to this workshop, and then well, okay, we all agree, and then we kind of give each other that support and feedback on areas that, of improvement and stuff like so. Thank you both.
All right. Any other final thoughts? All right. Seeing none. All right, ladies. Thank y'all for joining us tonight, and have a good night. See y'all later.
Thank you.